After COVID. So where are we going? Here's the analogy I like to use, that we are fighting a war against COVID. So we fought this war against COVID. We're still pretty much in the war. Hopefully we're coming to the end of the war, is what I think. At least we see a way out with Pfizer and Moderna's vaccine. So I think. So we fought this war. What do I think is going to happen? This is from the sum of all the patients I speak with. Well, one, when you fight a war, you spend a lot of money. So the first thing I see that's going to happen are taxes are going up, because someone's going to have to pay for these trillions of dollars in aid, these billions upon billions, if not trillions, in research for vaccines, equipment for hospitals, ventilators, new systems in hospitals, new systems in the healthcare system, new work arrangements. There's a lot that went into fighting this war. Shutting down, getting people back on their feet, retooling our industries so they work, and our supply chains. It was very expensive. Taxes are going up. What also is going up, this all makes sense why a psychiatrist is talking about this, so just hang in there. Government it's going to be more intrusive in our life, and there's going to be more regulations. There's going to be more involvement of government controlling what you can and can't do. And you say, well, I'm not getting a vaccine. It doesn't really affect me. Really? Try leaving the country without getting your immunity passport or immunity certificate. Yes, it's coming. You need your papers. If you think you're leaving the United States, you will need your papers in the future to certify you as biologically safe. And if you think you're getting on a plane, train, or bus in the United States, once this vaccine is very available, well, you're going to need a card. And to go to a school or to go to the work environment or any public gatherings, even catering homes, everyone will require your certificate that you got vaccinated and that you're following safety guidelines. What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, see the intrusion on our life? So your freedom of movement and your freedom to make decisions will be regulated away. And there'll be more. There'll be, to return to city life where people share a small amount of land with many people, there is going to be a host of new rules for separation in apartment buildings and parks and sidewalks and hallways. There's new regulations, new guidelines, new punishments coming our way. You could rest assured that's coming. What else did we have to give up? Along with all these regulations, your privacy, let me tell you, if you test positive, they're going to want to track where you went by scanning your cell phone. And they can track back 2 years even where you've been, who you spoke to, when you went. They're going to be able to take your saliva, blood, or body temperature all the time. You can rest assured you could be required to give saliva, blood, your body temperature. Who knows? There may be more things coming. Maybe you'll have to give urine even to verify that you took a medication if you are positive. Who knows what's coming or what invasive biological diagnostic tests are coming, but they're coming. Rest assured. I can guarantee the temperatures will continue. I can guarantee saliva tests will continue. I'm not sure what else, but maybe a sweat test for the virus is coming, or antibody test. So those are 3 things I'm talking about. The number 4th would be, I think we're at the point where we all realize we all live in this shared planet. And it's time, I don't know, I'm not saying I'm politically for or against this, but free healthcare in the United States, because this could just be the canary in the mine. We have to make sure everyone is taken care of, because otherwise they become petri dishes to spread more viruses. This may just be the first of many. Who's to say that, billions of people living on this planet, what is it, 7 billion now or something? We are spreading diseases very easily right now. Picture this. If you were raising chickens and you had a chicken house and everyone was living close together, all the chickens were in the chicken house, like 50,000, 100,000, and an avian flu virus came, you'd have to kill them all, right? Well, you can't kill all the people, but the diseases will spread just as quickly because we are living close together, because technology, rapid transportation, our proximity to each other is so close that we need to be concerned about everyone else's health. So if you're going to do all this biological diagnostic testing, you really need to treat people if they're sick. So I'm thinking this free healthcare is coming in the United States. I mean, everyone will have to be covered in some way. So this is another change, life after COVID. I just don't see a way around it. And then from a psychiatric standpoint, I mean, all this ties in. Bear with me. I mean, it's making sense. You have traumatized a large group of people. I would say people over 70 and people under 15 years old. People over 70, no one wants to go near them because they're afraid they'll give them the COVID and kill them, or they're afraid that they'll get it from them. So that population is very isolated. They're very afraid. They're hiding out in their homes. They can't go out because a lot of them, how many people reach 70 without some comorbidity? Having some, besides aging of your body, you have some heart, lung, liver, kidney disease. How many 70-year-old people are not taking some medicine for some chronic illness like hypertension, chronic obstruction, pulmonary disease, diabetes, arthritis, some breast or prostate cancer? What I just named, restrictive lung disease, asthma, that's about 80% of the population, if you ask me. Some kind of degenerative disc disease or kidney disease or liver disease. If you're at 70 and you're not sick, it's a miracle just about. Most people have something going on by age 70. Now, those population are very stressed, they're very alone, they're very depressed, they're very anxious about getting COVID, they're very isolated, they're not getting as much attention as they normally would, and they're cut off from society. It's very stressful. So the over 70 crowd is extremely stressed. And then the under 15 crowd, they were just pulled from school, pulled from travel, soccer, baseball, basketball, hockey, lacrosse, field hockey, and pretty much locked in their room to play video games and surf the net and go on Facebook, TikTok, and whatever other app they could think of, and just do nothing. And they were isolated, alone, and they're depressed. They're developing, and their development was arrested. So these are the two populations that I'm seeing are extremely stressed. What's interesting is I'm seeing a lot of people who, this is a commentary on the state of our society, I'm seeing a lot of people who were living isolated lives, so nothing changed in their life. They worked remotely, and now they still work remotely, and they go home, and I have so many patients, they say, well, my life's not that affected. About 60% said, my life was always isolated and alone. How many of these computer guys you think they're writing software? They're kind of very avoidant people. They don't interact with a lot of people. They're not very social. They write their software and they play video games, or they do solitary activities, and that's it. So their life was not that effective. There's a lot of people, which surprised me actually, that many people, a lot of people, their lives were not affected. It just tells me how lonely some people were. And they said, well, a lot of the stuff I did alone anyway. I never was in large groups, so my life wasn't affected. Then there's, I think, phobia developing among a large group of population. I see this maybe 70% of people. They're genuinely afraid to travel. They're afraid to go to public gatherings. They're afraid to touch people. They don't want to be touched. We're going to have some problems re-engaging people back into society. I mean, what are we going to do with that? You've terrorized and you put the fear of God an entire population not to be around people, and transportation industries, hospitality industries, they're dying because these people, I don't know if they'll re-engage back in society. I don't think they will. It will take time, and they'll have to be nurtured and teased out. So where we're headed towards is we will not go back to what was. We're not going to return to normal. So that normal is gone forever. There is no normal to go back to. What we're going towards now is a better, because the reason we're in this freaking mess is because the way we were doing things was not sustainable. You can't have 6 or 7 billion people living on a planet, and we were running a deficit in terms of biological safety. You cannot group that many people and have that much intermixing of people without catastrophic consequences. I mean, this is just the first virus, but there's been warnings. There's been influenzas and flu viruses and avian viruses and Ebola. This one just happened to become a pandemic, but there'll be more. We need a sustainable future. And I think some of the patterns that we see today and behaviors will continue. For example, work from home remotely. Not everyone's going to continue to work from home, but a lot of people will, and will shift people from home, so offices are never crowded again, and commutes are never that busy again. And with the school, we're not going to have congested classes anymore. We just can't. A certain amount of kids will do things from home and do certain things in person at a brick and mortar school. Socializing at home over the internet, and then meeting less frequently. In terms of travel, it's a special occasion, you'll go, but these routine trips will be traveling less. And business travel, I just don't see that. I think a lot of that business travel can go away. It was not necessary, and so we're not going to have as much business travel, and it's better for the whole planet. Less CO2. There's going to be less moving around of people around the planet. More services will be provided in the home, especially medical. You don't want to congregate sick people all in one place because they spread disease. So doing these telemedicine visits, it's a wave of the future. I do them. It went from a small part of my practice to now 70%. And that's the way it's going to have to be. So the new normal, our new life will be different. It will be this new sustainable future. We're not going back to those old habits because they didn't work. And we will gradually progress towards this new normal, and some of the aspects of what I've just said will take place. Thank you. I appreciate likes, subscribe. Also, I have a blog that most of the work that I do goes into my blog at dragresti.com. It's on my website. Just press blog, and there's I think like 200 articles. Thank you. Bye.